Well, that referendum result in Italy and the rise generally of populist parties in Italy and in the rest of Europe is being closely watched in Brussels. The EU is facing several challenges, particularly after the UK voted to leave the bloc in June. The timeline of that exit is still being determined. The Prime Minister, Theresa May, wants to start negotiations early next year. But the Supreme Court is now holding a landmark hearing to determine whether Parliament's approval is needed first. The government has appealed last month's decision by the High Court, which ruled only Parliament has the authority to trigger Article 50, which starts the process of leaving the bloc. Let's go to our reporter, Simon McGregor-Wood, who is live for us in London. Simon, firstly, talk us through what we're expecting in court today.
Morning. Well, we're expecting the beginning of 4 days of very, at one level, technical and legalistic depositions from the government, appealing the earlier judgment of the High Court, claiming that the government on its own has the powers to trigger Article 50 and begin the process against those who originally brought the case to the High Court, people who feel that Parliament have to be involved. It's at one level a technical issue, but if I ask cameraman Sean Palmer to turn around and show you something that's just turned up, an open-top double-decker bus here in the heart of London's Westminster, outside the Supreme Court, people obviously claiming that the Supreme Court is acting under political pressure, you'll get a sense of how highly charged the emotional baggage, if you like, around this particular legal case is. So, as I say, 4 days of very technical, legalistic deposition from both sides of the argument. The Supreme Court behind me, 11 justices, all 11 sitting in verdict on this, expected to deliver their decision sometime in early January.
And there's an interesting constitutional issue at stake here, isn't there, Simon? Talk us through that.
Well, I guess at the heart of this issue is whether or not a government, in this case, has the right to trigger Article 50 to begin the process of this country leaving the European Union on its own without reference to Parliament. In the rather complicated British Constitution, it is deemed that the British Parliament is sovereign in matters concerning the change to law, the making and unmaking of treaties. And I think the judges in the original court, the High Court, felt that this was such a case, that the decision to leave the European Union inevitably leads to unmaking treaties and changing laws that directly affect the rights of citizens in the UK. So that it was those judges' opinion that the government has to refer this issue to Parliament before proceeding. And I have to say, most political sources and legal ones suggest that the government's on a pretty sticky wicket here and is likely to lose, and they are coming to terms with that possibility.